Andrews Jr. worked with me for years and just only recently went over to Universal. I said, you got to meet this guy, Paul Abbott. He's kind of crazy and he's really a wonderful writer, but he's sort of you in England. And so I met with him and we were talking about, Andrew had wanted us to do this thing called clocking off that he had done, which was about different people in a factory and you kind of followed whoever hit their card, you'd follow them home and you'd see their different lives. It's a cool idea. They'd done it, I think, for ITV. I'm not quite sure who they did it for, but it was good. So we sat down to talk about this. This was years ago. And I said, what are you working on? He started telling me he was working on was the story of his own family's life, which ended up being Shameless. I said, that sounds fabulous. That sounds as crazy as the people I grew up with. And he said, oh, well, I'll send it to you. So he sent it to me, and I read it before they actually started making it in England. And I said, oh, I want to do this. This is great. Let's do this. It's 13 years ago because it took 7 years to get made in the States from that moment forward. Because I thought everybody just see what I saw in it. And I couldn't sell it. I could not sell it. Largely because the people I was pitching it to kept saying to me, this doesn't exist in the United States. And I said, well, I don't know where you're from, but it exists where I'm from and it exists with my family. And let me introduce you to some of my cousins in West Virginia. Let me introduce you to some of my relatives in various parts of the country. And I grew up around a lot of this. And I think you're ignoring the fact that there's actually an extraordinary amount of families that are really, really struggling in the country. And it was even when we were first talking about it, there was, the economic demise started to happen, and I was like, still, you guys can't see it. But we tried to sell it everywhere. It was first at Showtime briefly, then at HBO for almost 4 years. Then they gave it up, and we took it back to Showtime. Then they passed on it again. Then I took it to NBC briefly for a moment where they said they would actually do it with the content. And I said, I got to see the Standards and Practices report. And that came back, and I said, I don't think that's doing it. Took it back to Showtime, and Bob Greenblatt, who was at Showtime, said, I don't know, it makes me laugh. Here's a list of 6 actors. If you can get any of them, then we would do it. And one of the names on the list was Bill Macy. And I was like on a Thursday, and this is after 7 years. I called Bill, and I said, hey, I got this thing I think you might really like. And I sent it to him, and he called me back Friday morning and said, yeah, this is funny. I'd do this. So then I called Showtime. It was literally the next day after they gave me the list and said, well, Bill Macy will do it. And they said, oh, okay, we thought we were kind of sending you off on like an errand that nobody would do, but sure, we'll do it. And then they did it.